This is the book of Romans, chapter 3, verse 3 and 4. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect? Most High forbid. Yea, let the Most High be true, but every man a liar. As it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art judged. Romans chapter 3, verse 3 and 4. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachah Kodash. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Haran coming back at you with a quick lesson, lowering to be edifying, uplifting, and informative unto the elect. All right, and I have an article here, another red flag. As we head into the fulfillment of one of the last major prophecies there is before the return of our Lord and the destruction of America, Babylon the Great. Okay, it says here, major bank raises alarm bell on cyber warfare, claims entire community is at risk. Okay, and first time I saw this, actually this morning, first thing I thought about was, here they go with the scare tactics, the predictive programming, okay, the Hegelian dialectic, all right, the problem, reaction, solution, okay, and this is how it starts, okay. It's been going on for a while now. At least we've been hearing about, cyber attacks and so on and so forth, but when they start putting it out in the mainstream that the average person is going to be affected by this form of cyber attack and there's nothing they can do to defend you, that's when you start to put the pieces together to understand that they have a bigger solution in the works, okay? And that bigger solution has to be the only solution to the major problem that's yet to hit, not just wherever this bank is talking about being cyberly attacked, but around the world, because all these banks are pretty much digital and they're all interconnected, okay? They might call it Bank of America, but it doesn't mean that it's just Bank of America. They got Bank of England, right? They got all kinds of different banks, Chase Manhattan or Chase Bank, whatever you want to call it, JP Morgan Chase, what are the other ones that they got? I can't even think. Capital One, all these different banks, okay? They all work together, all right? And over the past couple of years, at least, you've been hearing even people from the IMF, okay, they've been pushing heavily for this whole centralized system. And ultimately, the whole world is going to go global with this whole centralized system known as the central bank digital currency. Okay, we've been talking about that now. Lately, you haven't been hearing too much about CBDC, but last year and the year before, it was the talk of the town. Everybody was talking about a CBDC, and ultimately what they're going to do is they're going to cripple the economy, like we've been saying for years. And then they're going to introduce this new system, because the world is pretty much going to be brought down to a welfare system, right? Where they're going to give everyone, they're going to issue a UBI, which is Universal Basic Income. And in order for you to participate or at least partake in this UBI system, you're going to have to be digitally identified. Okay, you're going to see long lines of people. And I believe I had a dream about this a couple of years ago, I believe 2022 or early 2023. Okay, no, it had to be 2022. I had a dream where it was kind of like I was hovering over a long line of people. Like I got picked up, right? It's like flying over a long line of people. You got men, wife with their wives and their children, some of them, right? And it was like people, man, mad people, long lines of people. And they were just like, you got just one bag and you're going into a building, right? They're heading into a building and they were all required to get their new ID. Okay, and that's how they pitched it. They didn't pitch it like, it's the MOTB. They just pitched it as your new identification. And a lot of people went for it. All right, mad people. Trust me, it was a lot of people. And I'm just like, damn, all these people, where they going? And I was just hovering over them. And I kept asking the question like, yo, is this the mark? Is this the mark? Are they going to take the mark? Like, all excited and shit, but you could see it. And people that I knew, from school and all that, they were in that line getting ready to go take that thing. And I recognized their faces. I was like, oh, this nigga here too? and it's people that you knew, like, this nigga got no life, they got nothing going on, so of course they're gonna take it, but the point is that that time is close. Okay, whatever event that's gonna happen, that's going to lead us into that, is gonna happen. It's gonna happen quick. It's gonna be devastating, and it's gonna be quick. Okay, and that's how they're gonna usher in this new solution. It's gonna be very, very fast and overwhelming. Okay, and they have to do it that way. Okay, as it tells you in Revelation, the 12th chapter. All right, that they know it, that they have but a short time. Okay, so the scare tactics are going to continue. They're going to escalate, and ultimately you have Cyber Polygon. I believe they're almost finishing up with they're doing their finishing touches by the end of this year. I believe they said September 11th, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so they also, something to look into, or at least keep an eye on them. All right. Anyway, so let's go. Let's read this article here. It says Australia's big four banks. Check this out. Australia's big four banks are under constant attack, says the National Australia Bank's executive for group investigations, Chris Sheehan. Every bank is being attacked all the time. That's a quote. It says Australia's big four banks, it has been revealed, are being bombarded by cyber attacks every minute of every day, leaving customers increasingly vulnerable to scams. Okay, so that's how they have to pitch it. They have to pitch it as, this is concerning for your own safety and the safety of your resources that you have with us. See? So then, in order for us to protect your resources and to protect your identity and to avoid these kind of things from happening in the future, we have this new system. And there you go. And I believe there are certain banks in Australia that's already gone cashless since, I believe, last year or the year before, right? So they've already gone cashless, and people are used to it. They don't carry cash at all. So that's just another step closer to the MOTB. Okay, a completely cashless society. The only way you're going to be able to, perform any transactions is via digital means. Okay, and I believe now they can do it, with the phones and so on and so forth. But what if something happens that affects your ability to use your phone? And then they create a new solution, which, hey, this is the new way, blah, blah, whatever the case may be, right? It says the attackers are trying to get into the bank's computer systems, deny services to customers, use malicious code, or breach security logins. And the purpose of these attacks, quote, if it's not us being attacked, then our customers are being attacked in an effort to steal their information and their money. See, there's no typical demographic. The entire community is at risk, Chris Sheehan told the World Today. See how they're pitching it? The entire community is at risk. Look at this. Oh man. I mean, at this point, personally, I just don't even put money in the bank no more. Like, if in my bank account probably have normally I keep it around $100 or less, in my bank, just to keep it active. That's it. In case I have to make some type of digital payment, if I have to pay something online, pay bills, whatever the case may be, I'll put the money on there, right? Physically put the cash or whatever, I'll put it on there, use it, and I'm done. Or I'll have just a little chump change in there. $100 is not chump change nowadays, but, just put that in there and then just use it, accordingly. Like, let's say I go to the grocery store and I need to buy water or whatever. I just use that and that's it. But typically I'm not keeping shit in the bank, because after last year, the whole SVB thing, people typically, when you start hearing banks shutting down and, collapsing and all these different things, what it does is it causes a bank run. Okay, because now people are concerned about the safety and the availability of their money that they have in these banks, right? Oh, this bank is going down and under. They're being attacked or whatever the case may be. I need to go get my money right now. The next person is saying the same thing. But see, one thing I've noticed is lately, due to all the distractions and the lack of understanding of how money really works, a lot of people don't even bat an eye, because they've been conditioned to think that everything is going to be okay because the officials say so. The experts are working on it. They don't want to think about it. They don't want to have to be the one to be responsible for having to deal with, the problems that are being, sent out in society, right? So then they just leave it to the officials, leave it to the experts. They'll figure it out. And of course they'll figure it out. Okay? They'll figure it out. When your ass is lined up with FEMA and they're about to give you that thing, they figured it out for you because you couldn't figure it out. See? But people are not even going to the banks to take their shit. Nobody cares. It's like it's like nothing ever happens. You know? So these devils already know that these people are just like sitting ducks ready to get cooked. You know what I mean? And they're gonna cook your shit. All right. Christine Lagarde already said it. She said, look, $200 in your bank account, we still need to know what you're doing with your money. All right. We need to know exactly what you're doing with the money. And when the UBI comes out, it's not your money. They're the one who's giving you the money. So they're going to be dictating what you can do with the money, when you can spend it, how much you can spend, and so on and so forth. Okay. Every transaction will be monitored and controlled. Okay. This whole carbon footprint, all these things that they keep coming out and saying, making it seem like it's good and it's positive for society. Nobody asked for it, right? You notice nobody's going around saying, we need a carbon footprint. It's just them. These old ass, nasty Edomites looking like they're about to croak. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones always pushing for this shit. All right. And that's also another sign that we're at the end of this thing, because all these demons are pushing for this so-called NWO, right? They're all in their 60s, 70s, 80s. You know, they're the ones that were living, you know, decades ago. They were living that American dream, so-called. You know what I mean? And now that we're entering closer to the end of this system, you could see that most of them are on their way out, pretty much, right? Nigga, Klaus Schwab, old as hell. You know, the Rockefellers dropping dead left and right. You know, Rothschild is already cooked. He's up out of there. You know, all these people that were pushing for the greatness of Esau's kingdom, they're all at the end. You see what I'm saying? They start to push this narrative of young global leaders. And they put Vladimir Putin in there. Like, this dude is old. He's in his 70s, I think. If I'm not mistaken on that. He's in his 70s. How is he a young global leader? You know what I mean? But then you look at the men of the Lord, as it says, Esau is the end of the world, right? You see all these Edomites at the end. You know, they're getting older and older and older, you know? And then Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All of us are young men. All right, look at the apostles. You know, they might have grays in their hair, but guess what? They're young men. They're vibrant. You know, they're not like these devils that, you know, they got to be in a wheelchair and all. Nuh-uh. You know what I'm saying? When you listen to even Apostle Tahar, you know, he goes into the whole boxing and all this different things that he goes into, you know, the martial arts and all that. Yo, he sounds like he could put a 1-2 on your ass and you be sore for days, man. You know what I mean? You listen to how, you know, you're like, oh shit. you know, but again, it's just the spirit, right? How Shai said, the flesh is the flesh is weak, but the spirit is what quickeneth, right? Anyway, so let's go back to the article. It says, let's see. It says, indeed, Sheehan is blunt. It's warfare out there. We're engaged in asymmetrical warfare on a day-to-day basis, he said. We're dealing with threat actors of all different types. From being colloquial, Larry the loser in the basement at home that's having a bit of a chop away at the laptop and trying to steal money from people or hack into a system, all the way to highly sophisticated, ruthless, and resilient transnational organized crime groups. And they're the ones that are driving 90% of the scams that are hitting Australian victims. Yeah, but you guys can't do nothing to stop it, right? It says, and then at the top end of the scale, we're dealing with nation-state actors, malicious nation-state actors. So it's asymmetrical warfare. It changes every day, Mr. Sheehan said. So again, they're letting you know that the current system now is vulnerable to hackers and shit. So they need to step it up. They need to increase their security systems. And that's going to affect the customers too. Okay, ultimately, everything is going to affect how you interact with banks. Okay, and these are all privately owned banks anyway. All right, they're privately owned anyway, so they can come up with their own policy. And at that point, what do you do? Okay, what do you do? The governments can't go around and say, well, you can't do that. It's their own private policy. You don't have to engage if you don't want to. That's how they play it. See, if they're able to infiltrate the government and work with lobbyists and all these different people, so now the laws are working in their favor against the people, and then they turn around and say, well, you don't have to if you don't want to. But yeah, it's a low-key force. It's a low-key force on you, It says, Australians are being fleeced to the tune of $3 billion a year by cyber criminals via scams, according to cybersecurity expert Troy Hunt. And while I'm surprised it was just 3 billion, not 6 billion, how they play with the numbers. And while he's hesitant to label the attacks warfare, the other guy labeled it malicious warfare. Now you just say whatever. He said the extent of the cyber attacks on Australia's financial institutions was not well understood by the public. Interesting. Propaganda needs to be in place. It says, I imagine most people are not aware of how prevalent the online attacks are, probably in part because they don't have a sense of the fact that these attacks do originate from all over the world. See? All over the world. Causes all, right? All over the world. All sorts of different demographics are mounting them. There are attacks online, attacks against individuals, attacks against corporations. We don't mind that at all. The attacks against corporations, they can do that all day. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind that. It says, it really is prevalent, Mr. Hunt said. He argues the exponential increase in cybercrime relates to the perceived lower risk compared to, say, physically robbing a bank. The risk involved with engaging in cybercrimes is different for those in countries where, for those in countries where it is unlikely the perpetrator can be extradited, right? Meaning the country giving them up, right? So let's say you commit a crime. Let's use Edward Snowden, for example, right? He ran to what they say he went to hide in Russia or whatever. If America wanted to really get him, they could speak to the Russians, and then he can get extradited, meaning the Russians will give him up, right? So it says the risk is totally different, and the reward's totally different as well. It's not about grabbing cash out of a till. It's about potentially grabbing hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars in one go, Troy Hunt said. So once again, the fear tactic is being put in place, okay, and also a reason to justify the next step they're going to take in order to protect your shit. Okay, that's how this works. All right, it says the result is that banks, including the NAB, which is National Australian Bank, work hard on their cyber defenses. We have a call center, blah, 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 blah. Like other institutions, the NAB has also told customers it no longer sends text messages to customers with links. So if there's a link in a text message, the customer knows it's a scam. Okay? Mr. Sheehan concedes, though, that once a bank customer hits, if it looks or sounds too good to be true, or if someone is applying pressure to you that you're going to miss out on something, or you're going to suffer a penalty, if you don't make that payment, they are massive red flags. But that's common sense, though. See, that's common sense. We get those kind of text messages all the time. That's common sense. But they have to make it a bigger problem. They have to bring it into the mind's eye, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? People need to be thinking about these problems. Again, that's what puts you on edge. You see? Oh, what if this happens to me? Oh, no. So whenever they come up with a solution that makes you sound secure, you're going to go ahead and do it. And that's up to and including taking that MOTB, point blank, period. All right? Because no man is going to be able to buy or sell unless those who take it. You know what I mean? According to the biblical prophecy here. All right, it says, the Australian Banking Association, which represents the banking industry, agrees with the NAB that the nation's financial institutions are effectively at war. Okay? And like I said, to win the war, they're going to have to bring in some new implemented technology. Okay? It says, we are amidst a scams war in this country, an Australian Banking Association spokesperson told the ABC. Quote, banks are working around the clock to protect Australians from scams, and the industry will continue to invest record amounts in the latest scam fighting technology to protect customers. That's all you need to know. Okay? That's all you need to know. It says extra safeguards from banks are helping to ensure less Australians are losing money to the international criminal gangs who run many scams. This is the same exact pitch that the Christine Lagarde from the IMF pushed She said, we need to protect, these scammers are out there. We need to do things to protect you from them. They're out there. Even if you have $200 in your bank account, we need to centralize this so we know what's going on, because that's how we're able to stop the bad guys. See? So, man, look, when the time comes, and it's going to happen quick. It's going to happen quick, man. Apostles always say it's going to happen quick. Okay? Let's get this in and we're going to close it out. All right? And people are not going to be ready for it. All right? That's part of the plan. Catch them off guard. You know what I mean? By Christine Lagarde. All right? There's a book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Start off at 1. It says, but of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, right? That's all they keep pushing. Safety, security, secure, do this, right? When they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Now, a woman with child who's aware of what's going on, she knows, I'm in the 9th month. You know what I'm saying? Any day now, I could really be going through what I got to go through. So she's prepared. But those who are not aware, they're just there. The next thing you know, oh my God, my water broke. Oh Lord, she has no idea what's going on. She's caught off guard. That means whatever she may be doing at that time, it's a wrap. She got to stop. She got to be out. She might be in the shower. Oh, the baby's coming. She got to go. She might be in a car driving somewhere. Like, you're 9 months pregnant, 10 months or whatever the case may be, any day now, but your ass is out there at a sports rally, or, you out there in public, you putting yourself in a situation where you shouldn't really be. If anything, you should be at home, chilling. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so it says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Right? So the birth pains, and then the water breaks. Right? The water breaks, and then it's over. Right? It's over. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Why? Because we're watching. Okay? Constantly watching, being on our watchtower, giving the alarm. Okay? And those who are not listening, as we read in Romans, the 3rd chapter, they're not paying attention. They don't care. They claim not to believe. Right? Which is fine. You don't have to believe. But guess what? The Lord is going to make a believer out of you. All right? The Lord is going to make a believer out of you. Okay? It says, verse 5, it says, ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Okay? Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Okay? Let us watch. And that's the key. Because Yahushua said what? Watch as well as pray. Okay? And when you watch, you're never going to be caught off guard. Okay? Because you can see it coming a mile away. 2, 3, 4 miles away. You can see it coming. All right, so you're better prepared. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to leave it off there. Lord willing, you were edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruach HaKodesh, the water Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, and until next time, Shalom.